Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Spirit Seers Cocktail Corner. As you can see, I have a very packed bar. This is an intense cocktail. It's a riff on a classic tiki drink that I've been very excited to share with you for quite a while now. We've been workshopping this for a fair bit, and I'm excited to see what you all think of it. So without further ado, let's give you a little background on this cocktail. So in 1934, Don the Beachcomber opened his first tiki bar, or sorry, not in 1934, but in the 1930s. He opened his first tiki bar. In 1934, he came up with a drink called the Zombie. And the Zombie is well known the world over. It has been riffed on and changed 1,000 times. But it was a well-known cocktail for having lots of grapefruit and spice and lots of different rums, and it was a complicated drink, often served with a warning of 1 per customer per night, because more than that would turn you into its namesake. So in a way, this drink is its opposite. Not because it has opposite ingredients, but because the main ingredient of this cocktail was intended to wake you up, make you feel better about the day. And so what's the opposite of a zombie? They're undead, so dead again. So we're calling this cocktail the Dead Again, and I'm really excited. So let's start making this thing. This is a shaken cocktail. As I use the ingredients in front of me, I'm going to take them down just to make more room on the bar. So bear with me as I may have to pause and shuffle some bottles around as we go. So we're going to start off with a ½ ounce of what we would call our deadly blend. So that's going to be a ¼ ounce of rum fire, which is an overproof, super funky Jamaican rum from Hampton Estate, and a ¼ ounce of Demerara rum from Hamilton 151. So this is again another overproof. Just a ¼ ounce of each of these, and then we will get them out of the way. Demerara rum is made on the banks of the Demerara River in what is now Guyana. Has a very distinctive flavor, very strong, and which is why you'll need a little bit. Hampton Estate, likewise, very strong flavor. This is a high ester pot still Jamaican rum. Tons of overripe fruit and funkiness from those high ester content. Then we need some absinthe, 3/4 of an ounce. As always, we're using Holy Stone's Apparition absinthe. And you might be thinking, absinthe's pretty high proof, and it is. We're going to do a ¼ ounce of falernum. We're using John D. Taylor's Velvet. Make room for that off the bar. We need ½ ounce of grenadine, using B.G. Reynolds grenadine. It's got orange flower water and hibiscus infused into it. Makes for a nicely complex grenadine, something more interesting than you get from any of the, cheaper, less quality brands. We need 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. We need ½ an ounce of cinnamon syrup. Now we need a ¼ ounce, of white grapefruit juice. Because it wouldn't be a zombie riff without the grapefruit. Now this is where things get really interesting. We all think of Angostura bitters as kind of that thing that we just put a couple of dashes in everything. It's bartender's ketchup. However, Angostura is really interesting because if used as the main spirit, you get some magic that happens with the flavors. For me, I always say that when you use a lot of Angostura, you get like oatmeal cookie and Hubba Bubba bubblegum. Something that you wouldn't ever expect. And so this cocktail calls for 1.5 ounces of Angostura bitters. So when you go to make this cocktail, I highly recommend that you just pick up the big bottle of Ango, because it'll chew right through your small bottles very quickly. Now we're going to shake this with 1 whole cube and 1 cracked cube. Then we're going to strain that into a tall glass, like a highball, over a lot of ice. Just because we do want a fair amount of dilution with this drink, because there's a lot of strong flavors and we need to get everything to play nice together. So here is our 1 whole cube. I would also caution you that when you're using this much Angostura, it does have a tendency to stain everything that it gets on, your clothes, whatever. So be very careful when you're pouring it, shaking it, don't get it everywhere. There's our cracked cube. And we're gonna shake away. I've already prepared our glass here, and we're just going to strain this in. You see that nice rusty color? That all comes from that Angostura. Now we're going to garnish this with a nice couple of mint sprigs. Give it a nice smack to express those oils. And then we'll top it off with a Surfside Sips bamboo straw. And let's see how it tastes. Yeah, so like always, when you use this much Angostura, something magical happens. And you get those baking spices and oatmeal cookies and hints of that classic pink bubblegum. There's also a lot of other spices going on here too, because we have the falernum, we've got cinnamon syrup, and we have absinthe, which are all kind of very interesting and complex flavors on their own. The absinthe brings a nice kind of earthy herbaceousness that really mixes well with that Angostura to form the base. The rums are still present, even in those tiny amounts, because we did pick very bold flavors. You definitely get that overripe banana, you know, just ready to make banana bread bananas. And then that Guyana rum is dark creme brulee, burnt sugar deliciousness. And then the falernum brings a nice kind of ginger snap flavor. And the grapefruit just kind of helps round it all out, because grapefruit does provide a lot of bitterness, and that balances out all of the sweetness that we get from the falernum, the cinnamon syrup, and things like that. It's a very complex cocktail. It goes down very nice though, and it's perfect for kind of either winding down your night or just getting it started. Definitely be sure to use a clear glass, because you don't get this color with any other ingredient than Angostura bitters. And it's one that most people don't think of as being an ingredient you can make a cocktail from. A really well-known one that we enjoy quite a bit is the Trinidad Sour. And I would encourage you to look that recipe up. I believe we do have a Cocktail Corner video of that cocktail, and try it at home. Don't be scared of using a lot of Angostura. Yeah, it can get a little bit pricey, and it's kind of hard to find these bigger bottles. You can get them on Amazon if you really want. So hopefully you decide to make this cocktail, and when you do, let me know down in the comments what you thought. We're actually quite proud of this, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Be sure to also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There's a link down below to our Teespring store and our portal for Surfside Sips. You can use the code Spirit Seers, all one word, to get 20% off your order. We really love their straws, been using them for years and have yet to have any casualties. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got tons of awesome content for you, well over 100 videos at this point, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. So hopefully we'll see you on the next one, and until then, keep the spirit.